Hi, my darlings. I'm Sophie Darling, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we are reacting to episode 3 of series 2 of Apothecary Diaries. And the last episode was a little strange, just a teeny tiny bit strange. We had a mid-rank concubine poisoned, and then it kind of left at the end with Gyokyu and her lady in waiting, and something seems a little off with that scenario. And I'm a bit worried that the show may then turn around and be like, the lady in waiting was in on it all along, and the reason all these dresses and stuff have come in is because she's informed people on the outside, and that's why it's all been brought in. But that just really wouldn't make much sense. But if they were going for like shock value, the biggest shock would be Lady Gyokyu's head lady in waiting being the one to actually give information to those outside. So that's why all this stuff has been brought in, because somebody's aware of the pregnancy. I'm not sure. It was just very odd, unless they're just trying to make it seem like there's something happening there, but that isn't anything. But we usually know that whatever we see at the end of the episode ends up being of importance in the actual episode. Gonna get into it because we also know the special envoys are coming and we didn't see them. So maybe we'll see them in this episode, because there were the two women in the caravan at the end of episode 1. Special envoys would usually be like nobility or royalty. So the show really does like to keep its cards close to its chest until it feels like it's the right time to reveal that information to you. So we're not going to yap, we're going to get into it. We can discuss it at the end, but I just kind of want to see how the story begins to unfold and take shape.
食中毒だそうです。たった今報告が。
Food poisoning?
病に伏せっていたとは聞いたけど。
Yikes.
ジンシ様がいらっしゃいました。
Has somebody then like slowly poisoning her over time, or is she teaching the others, or is she just practicing? Maybe a bit of both.
そうなんだよ。タオって子で仕事熱心ないい子だったんだけどね。
Oh, this is all really weird.
それほど優秀な女官が結婚間近で挨
We
拶
have
もなしにいなく
someone
なったと。
going missing. We have somebody who's been poisoned.
何か心当たりでもあるんですか？
それがないんだよね。
That's just cats in
まあ
general.
全くない話でもないけどさ。
こもりっきりでは解任を疑われるもんな。場所や服に気を使っているが、そろそろ気づいている者もいるだろう。問題は、その相手が有害か、無害か。
I mean, there's 2,000 women here. It's really hard to kind of gauge everyone's intentions.
特に問題ないですよ。ここでお話をなさっては。
Just like, I want to be involved.
張飛の元に長居するわけにはいきませんから。それに、ほら。
あら、玉葉様、諦めてください。
You've got motherly duties to attend to.
最近、帝が妃たちに娯楽小説を配っているのは知っているな。
さらに他の女官たちにも読み聞かせているようです。
Look how excited they are.
字を覚えようとする者もおります。
そうか。
Look how happy Jinshi is at the idea.
庶民の間では手習い所というのだろうか。
Oh,
下女
it's
の
like
た
a
めの学
school.
校か。何か考えているとは思っていたが。
Oh, Jinshi, I love you.
いいと思います。
いつもの視線はどうした？
体の具合でも悪いのですか？
She likes the idea. It's benefiting the servant girls. It's giving them opportunities they never had before.
マゾメ。
It's like, I want you to be mad at me.
それでどう思う？
南側の広場は搬入など利便性がいい一方で、正門が近く、上級妃や中級妃が集まる一等地です。気ぐらいの高い方も多いです。下女たちが教育を受けることを心よく思わない方もいるでしょう。
So it might cause some difficulties. Well done, Mao Mao. I love that Jinshi relies on Mao Mao so much, because she kind of knows all the inner goings of the rear palace. So does Jinshi, but Mao Mao's more aware of the dynamics and politics of it.
そうは悪くないが、育ちがいい分爪が甘いんだよな。 自覚があるから聞いてくるんだろうけど、
Mm-hmm.
あくまで私の主観です。
But he trusts
あ
her
あ、それと
and
もう一
it's
つ。
so cute and I
お
love
前
it.
キノコには詳しいか？
Of course she
まあ
does.
食用にも調薬にも使いますので、それなりには。
Oh, oh, oh. Is this all gonna link back to the mushrooms that she was like drawing in episode 1? That she was showing to Lingley? Like she was drawing like a mushroom and she was kind of being like poisonous. Is that gonna like come full circle into here that like people have been gathering these mushrooms and eating these mushrooms and have been slowly poisoning themselves? Or maybe it is more sinister. It could be innocent in that the concubine that has died has been unknowingly poisoning herself by eating these foraged mushrooms, or somebody could have been feeding them to her. Also, what is it with this court lady that's gone missing? That's very strange, very sinister. Maybe it's not sinister, it could be innocent, but it's just strange that she was engaged to be married and she just upped and left without so much as a goodbye, without a word. It's almost as if she's been whisked away.
食い意地が張ったものはどこにでもいますね。
まったくだ。医局でイカンと松茸を食べていたやつもいた。果樹園の果実もよくなくなりそうだ。
先ほどといい何なんだ。
頼んだぞ。
わかりました。何かあるかも
Maybe
しれ
it's
ない
on a
が。
need to know basis
Almost
between you two. Maybe he doesn't want to
さて、
worry
どこから行こ
Gyokyu.
う
I
か
don't
な。
know.
花園に果樹園に松林。キノコの生えそうな場所はたくさんある。
It's exactly what she loves to do, right? Like, she gets to forage, gets to look at poisonous plants. She'll probably keep a few, knowing Mao Mao. She's perfect for this.
なんだこの匂い。妙にツンとするような。
She's dirty.
バッチ。
マオマオ、なんだか臭くない？一体何してたの？
大変充実した一日でした。
She's so
薬と
happy.
して使えるキノコも収穫でき
I
た。
knew she would take
毒
some.
キノコだと言って置いてきたから、いくらやぶでも食べないだろう。
Maybe if I tried one.
すぐに
No.
玉葉様の夕げだから早く着替えてね。
お二人の手首に黒い紐。
What does that mean?
高級で誰か高貴な方が亡くなられたと。
Oh, it's an act of mourning.
ここ1年体調を崩して部屋にこもりきりだったのだけど、
Okay, so this is the same one from the first episode.
帝が通われることもなかったのだから実家に帰ればよかったのに。
珍しいですね。本ニャン様がそこまで言うなんて。
Yeah, it is strange.
妃や女官への嫉妬が激しくて、中傷したり立場の低い者には暴力が。
Oh,
そんな折
okay.
姫を身ごもった玉葉様が毒を盛られたのは。
So she wasn't well liked.
何か証拠でもございまして。結局疑惑止まりだったわ。
So maybe somebody's playing her at her own game.
肩身の狭い思いをしたと聞い
Instead
た
of
けど。
directly confronting her, they slowly poisoned her over the last year.
なぜジンシ様はキノコを
Because
調べろ
Jinshi
と言った
suspects that
のか。
somebody's been poisoning
なぜ
her.
玉葉様のいる翡翠宮でその話をしなかったのか。それは翡翠宮の人間を疑ってい
Because
る
if
から。
they think that she poisoned Gyokyu when Gyokyu was pregnant, that somebody could be doing it as revenge.
なんて腹の内がバレたら今後の信頼関係に影響するだろうが。
He's very
しか
smart.
し玉葉様は犯人ではないだろう。
Doesn't mean her head
Dokisatsu
lady in
なんて手間
waiting
がかかる
couldn't
し、
be.
中級妃を失脚させる方法はいくらでもある。となると疑われているのを 私か。
Me?
毒キノコ探しを頼む体でこちらの反応を見ていたのだとしたら、失望どころか感心さえしてしまう。おや、仁妃の次女だよな。何かにかぶれたのか。
どうぞ。
でも今の傷を、せめてどんな症状があったのか生前に聞けていればな。
What's the rash on the hand? It's like she's come into contact with something that's irritated her. She has rashes on her hands too.
おやめください。
So does she.
自業自得だな。
なるほど、見えてきた。人士様の探したかったものが。昨日騒ぎを起こした女は孫妃という下級妃だと聞いた。帝がネアを訪れることもあったそうだ。しかし一昨年のちょうど今頃。
なんでどうしてこんな。
Jealousy because the emperor was visiting her. It's so cruel what women will do to each other because of jealousy.
ではなぜその下級妃が仁妃の葬儀であん
Because
なこと
maybe
をし
she
たのか。
suspects that Jin was the one that did it.
病の原因が仁
But
妃に
Jin
あると考えて
also
いたからだ。
was suffering the same illness.
物々しいな。
Is it spores? Has it got
猛毒です
into
か
the
ら。
water and it's just infected people and they're all blaming it on each other like an act of hysteria?
発生自体珍しいのですが、大変危険な代物です。ほんの一かけら口にしただけで致死量に達し、触れるだ
Hence
け
the
でも毒性を
rashes
吐
on
き、
the
それ以上
hands.
近づかないでください。
Don't
仁
touch
妃や
it.
孫妃のようにこうなりますよ。
触ったのか。
はい、すぐに洗い流しましたが、この通りです。
その包帯の下にもまだ跡が。
いえ、他は私がやった実験の後です。
実験ってなんだ。
趣味です。
なんだ趣味と
My
は。
hobby.
そういや初めて見せたっけ。
I don't know why he's shocked.
2年前、孫妃が突然謎の病にかかり、毒物が原因だと疑われた。その犯人と噂されていたのが
仁妃。
そして1年前、仁妃にも孫妃と同じ症状が現れた。同じ毒を誰かに盛ろうとして誤って触れてしまったんだろう。それからの仁妃は人が変わったように気落ちしてな。もともと気ぐらいの高い妃だ。耐えきれず毒を含んで自殺した。というのが仕えていた侍女たちの証言だ。
Oh, so she killed herself.
一見辻褄は合う。だが
But how did they
仁
come
妃は
into
毒キノコ
contact
を
with it?
口にして死んだのですよね。
そうだ。
口の中には炎症も起こりますが、顔にまで広がるとは聞いたことがあります。遺体の顔の腫れはまだ新しいものに見えました。直接毒キノコをこすりつけたような。引き換え手は綺麗なままだった。
So somebody's been doing it to her, right?
お、
言いたいことがあるなら言ってみろ。
Oh,
す
like don't touch me.
数日いただけませんか。
しかし
He trusts you,
何を調べるつもりなのでしょう、シャオマは。
わからん。
even if he had to treat you as somebody in this investigation.
あとは証拠を探す
But
だけ。
that's out of fairness to everyone else, you know? It's the little cat every time. It loves Mao Mao.
ここを掘っていただけますか。
わかりました。
I won't lie, I'm a bit at a loss as to what's going on in this episode. Oh, okay.
これが証拠というわけですか。
あの遺体、仁妃で間違いなさそうだ。
What? Okay, so what? So Jin is actually dead and buried in the woods. Obviously, it looks like she's maybe been murdered and her body's been hidden because why the hell would you bury her in the woods? This court lady that they were talking about earlier that mysteriously disappeared, was she made to take Jin's place, or she was in on this plot and took Jin's place to maybe escape the life that she was living? The person that's in the grave is Jin. Whoever is posing as Jin has to have been this court lady that went missing. Because they did say that she had changed after like the poison. So maybe part of the change is because it's not actually Jin who they're dealing with. It's a completely different person who's trying to mimic how she believes Jin to act and behave. So is this linked to the larger plot against Jinshi and the Emperor, or is this solely to do with jealousy and maybe power grasping to become the next consort? Because again, there's 4 consorts. This is a palace rife with competition and women wanting to achieve the power that comes with being a consort. So if they feel like someone is a direct threat to that, they may then do whatever they can within their means to get rid of their competition, essentially. Hence why people would have targeted Gyokyu when she was pregnant, because she is competition, especially the fact that she's having a baby, which would only consolidate her position even further as a consort and as being close to the emperor because she is the mother of his child. So it could be linked to that, or it could be linked to the plot, or it could be a combination of both. But that also now makes sense as to why the head lady in waiting and Gyokyu were kind of like not really sad at the information, because it's not really someone that they like, because they suspect that she was the one that tried to kill Gyokyu while she was pregnant. So of course they're not really going to feel any sympathy or affection for her, but it makes sense as to why they're like sort of dejected. They're kind of like, this isn't good, but also kind of deserved if she is the one that targeted me. So, yeah, I'm very confused. I'm very kind of lost.
殺害か事故かは分かりませんが、1年前に死んでいたのでしょう。本物は林に埋められ、
Very
別
convenient
人
that
が
she
なりすま
fell
していたのだと
ill
思います。
and had to
Yeah.
reside within a
So
room and didn't speak.
行方不明の女官をご存知
The
ですか？
missing court lady.
結婚を前に姿を消したタオさんという方です。人妃とよく似ているのでは？
She does.
月に一度の訪問者をごまかすことも可能かと。
So she was pretending to be
そのタオ
ill,
という女官は
but then maybe
人妃の
somebody
次女
did
と共謀
actually
していた
target her with
おそ
poison.
らく詳しい事情は分かりませんが、きっかけは嫉妬だろう。人妃は自分に似た女官が求愛されたことが気に食わなかったのだ。自分は帝が来てくださることもないのにと。それでいさかいとなったのか、事件か事故か、人妃は死んだ。
And they all
次女たちは
conspired.
保身とタオへの同情からか、人妃の死をごまかそうと提案した。タ
To
オに
cover it.
断れるはずもない。
Yeah.
代わりを続けることは不可能になっていく。
They killed her.
や
Maybe.
めよう。動機なんてお偉いさんが勝手につければいい。
It sounds really plausible because they would be in trouble as well because they helped conceal and cover it up.
まさか死体の上でキノコ観察を楽しんでいたとは。
Oh, Mao Mao.
そのキノコどうする気だ？
Nothing. Don't ask
大
Jinshi.
変面白いキノコがたくさんあるんです。
死体に生えるキノコがか？
そんな冬中華草のようなキノコは見つかっていません。それに人に生えるなら冬人花草かと。
没収だ。
He's like, no. He's like, I worked hard
純粋な
for this.
好奇心なのに。
死体から生えるキノコか。あるとすれば、どんな姿で、どんな紅葉があるのだろう。
Yeah, so that's really interesting. Obviously, Mamo speaking on conjecture. We don't fully know the truth, I guess. I would lean into believing Mao Mao because Mao Mao's incredibly clever and she kind of puts everything together. The fact that she knew the smell was a rotting corpse and what gave it away was the mushrooms because it's the perfect condition for mushrooms to grow. I didn't even twig in my brain that it was going to lead that way. I feel like maybe I missed quite a few clues, especially in relation to the missing court lady, but I think my mind was wandering to like somebody maybe like targeting the women and like getting rid of them. It didn't necessarily lean into a murder plot and one then taking her place, but yeah, it's gonna make sense that when she feels that she can't keep the ruse up anymore because her marriage talks are getting serious and she wants to bail from it, they're going to silence her by killing her because it's the only way to ensure that they conceal what they have done, which is they're part of a bigger plot. They were witnesses to the murder, and then they also coerced her into taking Jin's place, into becoming Jin. So the only way to keep the whole thing a secret is to kill the one person that could reveal it all, and everyone would just think Jin died because of her illness. So the way that my mind has kind of put it together is leaning into Mao Mao. So Jin was incredibly jealous of anyone that was getting the Emperor's attention. Jin used this mushroom to poison the lower concubine that was being visited by the Emperor because she was angry and annoyed and jealous that the Emperor wasn't visiting her. So she wanted to disfigure and ruin her beauty and make her less attractive so that the Emperor would cast his eye elsewhere. She's desperate to become a consort. She's desperate to be in the Emperor's affections. The Emperor isn't visiting her, but he is visiting a lower ranking concubine, which is akin to being snubbed. And in that environment, you're not going to take that lightly. You're going to find a way to try and get the Emperor's attention by taking out the competition for his attention. So she then uses this mushroom to poison and disfigure this lower ranking concubine so that the Emperor no longer pays attention to her and turns his attention elsewhere. But it doesn't work because he still doesn't turn his attention to her. So then she has this servant who is getting married, and she's really excited and she's looking forward to leaving. And she's angry because how is she finding love, this person of lower birth than her? And she can't even get the Emperor to look at her. And they look the same, they have similar builds, so she's probably even more jealous because she's like, well, how are you finding affection looking like that? And we look the same, and I'm not finding affection, I'm not finding love. And that's not fair. So then she begins to bully her and take it out on her and like abuse her further, which then leads to her lashing out against Jin. And in an accident, results in Jin dying through hitting her head or some other trauma. But because everyone witnessed it, they're all just as guilty because they didn't stop it and they didn't seek help. They just allowed it to happen. So they're all conspirators in this murder by extension, essentially. They've been privy to the crime. So they then go, okay, so I don't want to lose my life because of this woman that we don't like anyway, because she mistreats us all. So why don't we force you into being Jin and taking her place and then just saying that you're ill? And nobody will know. Nobody will tell the difference, which makes sense as to why she wasn't speaking, because her voice might give her away. And Jinshi even said that, like, her personality had almost changed. She wasn't quite the same person. But when I heard that initially in the episode, I thought it could just be an effect of the mushroom because we didn't actually know that she wasn't poisoned at that time by the mushroom. We were being led to believe that that was the case, and then it ended up being this whole like murder subplot going on, which is wild. She still wanted to get married, and the talks were becoming more serious, and she was maybe planning to bail and run away with the man that she's marrying, which would then leave the other ladies in waiting in a very difficult position of them questioning where this mid-rank concubine is, because you can't just disappear in this environment, especially when the concubines are the Emperor's property as well. They're not the same as the consorts, but they are still there for the Emperor's choosing, essentially. They are there in the hopes of one day being selected to be a consort. So you can't just disappear. The fact that they would have to be forced to answer some very difficult questions leads to them going, well, the only person here at risk of blowing everything is the fake Jin. So we'll just kill her. We'll just get her out the picture and we'll poison her and we'll make it look like somebody maybe intentionally did it out of jealousy or spite or anger. So then the lower ranking concubine thinks the fake Jin is the real Jin because she already suspects that it was the original Jin that had poisoned her to begin with. And that's why she's kind of like gloating, even though it's not the real Jin. The real Jin has already died. She didn't suffer the same fate because she was already buried in a grave in the woods. So the true question is how did they manage to sneak the body out and bury the body in the woods without anyone catching them? It's a very heavily guarded place. Unless they like bundled her into like a rug or something, but it would not have been easy to do. So that raises a whole another set of questions. Maybe this episode is meant to be the end of this story, or maybe this leads into the next episode because it forms a larger plot piece, just like the little mystery elements that we thought were just individual mystery elements, but ended up being larger pieces of the puzzle in the attempt to assassinate Jinshi and target the Emperor. So it could be that this then comes back, much like we had the woman that jumped off the wall and it was like, is it suicide or was it murder? And then that forms like a larger plot to Feng Ming. Is it Feng Ming? I think it was trying to get rid of Li Shu because Li Shu knew about honey being poisonous to babies and she was worried that Li Shu would tell Aldua and Aldua put two and two together that Feng Ming had accidentally poisoned the baby prince and the baby prince had died because of botulism. So it's kind of like one point becomes like a larger point across multiple episodes when you put it all together. So it could be that this is similar because Mao Mao's saying that she still wants to investigate and look into things. But now, again, it still makes sense as to why the head lady in waiting, Gyokyu, were very like, apathetic. They already are aware of that information. And I love that Jinshi was treating everyone fairly. He knows that Mao Mao isn't involved in it, and she's very careful. She's very meticulous in her words. She knows the dangers of speaking out of turn, but he still has to treat her as equally as everyone else. Everyone is under suspicion in Jinshi's eyes. So he trusts her, but he still needs to make sure that nobody sees him as giving her favorable attention, and also Gyokyu by extension, hence why he couldn't say this to Gyokyu, couldn't let Gyokyu know what Mao Mao would be doing, because Gyokyu could be involved in it too. Even though Gyokyu had another means of getting rid of mid and lower rank concubines as a consort, she has power and authority to dismiss them. Maybe not directly, but definitely through having the Emperor's affection and his ear. It wouldn't necessarily need to be her, but be a head lady in waiting. There was no love lost there at all. She was very kind of meh. But yeah, I'm kind of annoyed at myself for not putting two and two together, but I feel like this episode went in about 500 different directions and it was very hard to kind of follow where it was going. But I do like the whole murder mystery subplot to it, and also the way that it shows how far women will go to grasp for power, because the show is very good at obviously depicting the issues that men and women faced in imperial China and the suffering that happens between classes, but also the power imbalances between men and women, and Jinshi's efforts to kind of break down that divide by providing a place of education for serving girls so that they get opportunities that weren't previously available to them. But this episode also highlights the other side, where jealousy and pride can also result in attacking or murdering others because of petty conflicts, because of this lust for power, even so much as disliking the idea of a school, because some of these women will feel superior in the fact that they can read and write, and the idea that a serving girl will have that ability too places them at a more equal playing field, which would create jealousy, which is why Mama was saying you have to be very careful where you're doing this, because if you put it here, it's also where the court ladies are. They might take this as a direct threat to their position because more girls will be able to read and write. That makes it harder for them to justify their jobs within the court. So Mamo is very clever in making sure that Jinshi minimizes the risk of them lashing out at the serving girls and doing something as malicious as poisoning them, but at the same time, it's emphasizing the dynamic in the rear palace. The way in which there is camaraderie amongst women, but there is also competition and jealousy and contention, and the way in which this environment breeds this desire to be better than all the others because you want the emperor's attention. You want to be seen as the best of the best. And if you're not getting that, you'll start lashing out because you feel that they don't deserve the attention, but you do. So it's just very fascinating. But what I love about the show is that it doesn't shy away from also criticizing women and how women within the society who already have it quite difficult based on the gender dynamics are still determined to make other women's lives hell, who are also struggling just as much as them. It really delves into the little details of court life and the political dynamics, but also the competition that is bred between women, especially for the emperor's affection. And this wasn't just in imperial China, this would happen across the European courts. The determination to be recognized and to become a mistress of a king is intense, to the extent that women will lower themselves to poison or whispering gossip that could have their rival punished for adultery or maybe treason against the king, all sorts. It's emphasizing the dangers of this environment. We get to see the camaraderie, we get to see the relationships that are formed between women within this environment as well. We get to see the positive aspects, but this episode really highlights the negative aspects of it too. That not everyone is out to get along with each other, that some are out for themselves and they will do whatever it takes to get rid of the competition. But if you enjoyed this react, please consider liking, subscribing, and leaving a comment below to help boost this video into the algorithm. And until next episode, bye!